All right, members of the culture. I'm Ra, and you are here. Welcome in, everybody. The purpose of today's video is simply to say thank you. I would like to thank an individual for their contributions to this wonderful hobby that we know, love, and indulge in. So with your permission, I'm going to explain why I'm thanking this individual, my connection to this individual, and what I think they've done for the hobby, both currently and going forward. So if you don't mind, let's do this. So who am I thanking? None other than Todd McFarlane. And speaking of Todd McFarlane, my connection with Todd McFarlane starts with this character right here. For some people, it's Turtles. For some, it may be Spider-Man, Comically True. It could be a bunch of different things. But my connection dates back to Spawn. This was the first character that I ever saw that, in the words of Todd McFarlane, just looked cool. Right? And I get a lot of flack for that, but there is something to be said about something looking cool. When we eat with our eyes. Our eyes we're very visual people. All right. Everything starts with what we see. If we see it, we like it, that leads us to investigate it more times than not. And in the case of Al Simmons, or Spawn as he's known for, that is what happened with me. I saw this image. I said, I need to know more about this character. And I jumped in and got hooked instantly. This is one of my favorite characters of all time. And that is how I got connected to Todd McFarlane. The 1997 movie gets it has gotten a lot of flack, but I think in years, people have softened their stance on it, and it's become somewhat of a cult classic, at least in my opinion. And that was led by the great John Leguizamo and Michael Jai White, who I think carried the movie, and I personally like it. It's in my collection. I own the DVD of it, and I love it. But this is the iconic clown. You can't have Spawn without the clown. And of course, his other form, what he's really known as, the Violator. That movie was good, and I had to give props to both of them for an amazing job they did. And the clown specifically, disgusting, funny. John Leguizamo really didn't get his flowers enough for me for the job that he did. But when it comes to the world of Spawn, you can see right here, there's so many cool characters. No disrespect to Gorilla Grodd, but Cygor to me is a gorilla to be feared. Look at the sculpt on that, man. Super dope. But the world of Spawn just has so many cool, iconic characters. And I really, really, really love it. Look at that. That, to me, this is the elite version of Spawn that came out not that long ago. Nothing against the Kickstarter, but this, to me, is the definitive Spawn. So happy to have it in my collection. Big props to Todd McFarlane for bringing this character into existence. But what have you done for me lately? So unless you've been under a rock, I'm sure by now you know that this is actually the first week, in my opinion, the first week of May 2026. And as you may or may not know, Todd McFarlane will be losing the DC license, particularly DC Multiverse, at the end of the calendar year. So you've been seeing all these leaked lists of all these characters coming out, and the scalpers are going crazy, making it hard for the rest of us to get some quality figures. But anyway, so Todd McFarlane won't be doing those figures any longer, and DC Multiverse will be in the hands of Mattel. I wish them the best of luck. I'm a collector, so we'll see what they do, but that's a video for another topic. That's a topic for another video, excuse me. We'll get to that later. What have you done for me lately? I think Todd McFarlane has done a good job with the DC license. I really do. Has it been all perfect? No. It's definitely been hit or miss. He's never been great to me with female characters, at least putting out enough of them. And then when he has, it's been hit or miss, and more miss than hit, if I'm being really 100% with you. But he has had some good ones. He really has. Quantity, he's always done that. He's never been somebody that doesn't put stuff out. Say what you want to about the man, but the man keeps the shelves packed. There's no doubt about that. You don't ever have to worry about Todd McFarlane putting out figures, whether you want to say peg warmer or what have you. Sometimes there's no worse feeling than going in a store and you can't find something. It's annoying. But at least with Todd McFarlane, we know the quantity was always there. So that part I give him props for as well, for at least keeping the pegs full with something so you didn't have to walk out empty-handed. Now, did he do a lot of Batman? Yes. Mattel's going to do the same thing. Anyone that has a license, you have to know where your bread is buttered. So Batman, Superman, the Flash, the iconic DC characters, your Justice League. Those people are always going to be first and foremost before you get any type of ancillary characters, or in our case, the randos, the deep cuts. Shout out Brother Seabear. We love those. That's us. We here, brother. But before you get those, you got to get your normal mainstays. And I think Mattel's going to do the same thing. It's only smart. So that's not a McFarlane thing, a Mattel thing. Everybody does that. You want to get the core characters out first. So we're going to see where Mattel goes with that. But I definitely think that of Todd McFarlane's, faults, quantity hasn't been one. Quality, yes, he has had hit or miss. He's doing some of his best work now on the way out. But overall, I gotta say he's done a good job in terms of putting stuff on the pegs. What's in your wallet? So in my collection, I got the usual. Here is the Nightfall Bane Batman 2-pack. One of my personal favorites. This was the infamous time. You guys know that storyline where he broke the bat. This is a wonderful 2-pack that I think should be in any collector's collection. I got the usuals. So, there's my Batman. I've got Superman, things like that. But I think and of course, Cyborg Superman. Man, look at that. When this character hit, everybody was expecting this. This is Hank Henshaw. So when it first hit, he's in the red and blue, but I love this variation more. I think that the red and black just pops. But we got Zor-El instead. And I think, not for nothing, Zor-El's a dope character. This figure was reviewed highly, and it is really dope, and I think you should give it a chance. I realize that everybody wanted Hank Henshaw, but Zor-El, New 52, he brought, like I said, Todd will jump out there and give you something you don't expect. And this is a good figure. It really, really is. Obviously, Hank Henshaw comes in first in my terms of Cyborg Superman. So thank you for at least giving us that, Todd. But he did do a good thing with Zor-El. One of the things I think Todd does real well is the cover recreations. So while I do love me some Kingdom Come, Alex Ross's art is undefeated. Okay, but he did give us this version from one of the cons, from one of the Comic Cons. This is the all red version of Kingdom Come, man. It still got the Alex Ross artwork, if you're wondering. It's right there. That is super dope right there. Super, super dope. Of course, I got my Green Lanterns. You guys know I love Green Lanterns. I got Kilowog and Kyle Rayner and Abin Sur and Tomar Ray hanging out, right? I got Guy Gardner, Sinestro, because I got the Yellow Lanterns too, but you guys know Sinestro was a Green Lantern, one of the best actually. And then of course that brings me to Hal Jordan and this Emerald Twilight. If you follow my channel, you know I was so ticked off that this was a McFarlane store exclusive and a Walmart exclusive. He sold out immediately. Walmart let the scalpers go wild. Took me 4 months to get it. Long story short, I finally have it. This is one of the dopest in history right here. I love this figure, and I'm not a cell shaded guy when it comes to figures, but they nailed it on this, the recreation and likeness. This is a really dope figure. If you could get your hands on it, I'd advise you to do so. But that's one of the things, like I said, that Todd does. The cover recreations and the randos and deep cuts are really appreciated. Look at that icon. Speaking of kind of the deeper cuts, and, going into that back catalog, Icon's amazing. And who will ever forget the leader of the Zoo Crew, Captain Carrot? This is a super dope figure right here that not a lot of collectors have. People slept on him, and I really think they regret it these days. I don't know when Mattel or if they're going to give us a Captain Carrot, but thank you, Todd, for that. I love this figure. Everything about him is just super dope. 100%. And a jewel of my collection, the BVS. As I said, Todd does not give us women very often. Can be hit or miss. This was definitely a hit. One of the hits for sure. I love this. Shout out Gal Gadot. James Gunn, I really think you should give that woman a chance because I thought she did good as Wonder Woman. I could just be a mark for Gal Gadot, I'll be honest. But I thought she was good. As Wonder Woman, and fits in if you just give her a shot. Anyway, let me stop glazing on that and wrap things up here with this video. So in closing, is Todd McFarlane perfect? No, nobody is. He's made mistakes, but overall, if I have to say and give him a grade, I think he's left the DC multiverse in better shape than when he got it. And if you can always leave something in better shape than you got it, that's a win in my book. So now he's moved on to Mortal Kombat. That first wave, not so good. The second wave looks to be really a hit. He seems to be kind of going in the right direction. That Noob Sabat looks like it's going to be super dope. Ermac, I'm looking forward to that, because those of you that know me know that one of my favorite franchises is Mortal Kombat in terms of fighting games. It's, it's definitely, for me, it was Mortal Kombat #1, Street Fighter #2. I know that sounds so crazy, right? And blasphemous to some of you, because I love Street Fighter. Guys know I got the Jada figures, and I got the Storm figures, and there's a video on the channel about that, so I won't go off into that tangent. Please check those out. But the McFarlane figures on Mortal Kombat so far are coming along, and I think he's working his magic. We'll see what happens there. But I just want to say thank you, Todd, for what you did for DC and what you're doing for Mortal Kombat. I can't wait to see what happens next. And to Mattel, I wish you the best of luck. We'll see what happens. I'm a collector, so if you got the dope figures, you guys know it'll be in the collection. Thank y'all so much for taking the time to listen to me today. And if you'll do me a big favor, go in the comment section and let me know, do you have anything by McFarlane Toys? They only been around 30 years, but do you have anything by them? Are you a Spawn fan? Did you get them with the DC, the Turtles? And let me know what you think about McFarlane Toys as a whole. Let's just keep it, all I ask is keep it classy down there, right? We want to engage, we want to talk, but let's keep it classy. Let's have some good dialogue down there. So folks, until the next video, please continue to stay tuned. Please continue to stay collecting. And above all, please continue to stay great. Thank you, and I will see you on the next video.